setup.
Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Eddy Live. I'm here with John Murn. Yeah,
that's right.
How you doing, brother? Thanks
Great.
for coming, man. I appreciate it.
Me.
Oh man, I got so many questions for you. But the first one is, how do you do with spicy food?
I love it.
You love spicy food, yeah?
I just got back from Mexico actually this past week.
Oh shit. Okay, what were you doing in Mexico?
I was there kind of for work, kind of for holiday. So
Okay,
I have
okay.
I have a client, and I was fortunate to be on a wellness retreat.
Okay.
And that was part of it. And
In Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, that's pretty cool. Where'd you go?
South of Cancun, the Riviera Maya,
Okay.
and then
wow.
Tulum.
Okay. And how long did you go there for?
11 or 12 days.
Okay,
So I was
wow.
on the retreat for about a week, and then a few days to ourselves.
Is that the first time in Mexico?
That was my first time in Mexico.
Okay, what'd you think?
I loved it.
Oh,
man.
the food's great, right? Oh, Mexico. I mean, we cook Mexican. We do all of the Mexican stuff here. We cover as many bases as we can. But when you go back to like the motherland, it's like, oh my God, Mexico. Yeah, it's incredible.
Every taco stand was a pit stop.
Every taco stand. I mean, it's like 10 cents for a taco, and they're like mind blowing. They have their lineup of like 10 salsas, and you just kind of like bang, 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 bang.
It's a beautiful
It's
thing.
like, oh my God. And then you pay the bill, and it's like $5 for like 20 tacos or less than that. It's crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was
I went to
amazing.
visit some family a couple years ago, and it blew me away that I hadn't been back there in about 15 years, but it's still, I think the prices are the same, It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They're like, they're like, no. I'm like, this is the same. I'm like, no, nobody raises their prices.
No
and they're
inflation.
like, no inflation, nothing. They're like, this is normal. This is not cheap. It's like, wow, okay. And they're like, what do you charge for tacos? I'm like, well, it's a lot more than this, man. You don't want to know. Shoot,
Sure.
It's a different place. Yeah, for sure. Right on, brother. So let's get the first one, and then we'll start it up. Yeah?
Sounds good.
So we start from the right to the left, right? Yeah. First one is just a basic buffalo. It's Frank's, yeah? So you can take the drumstick or the wing, whatever you like, yeah? Right on. Enjoy.
Going in.
Yeah, go on in, man. I really appreciate you coming out, man. I know you're a busy guy.
No, it's my pleasure. I like talking about what we do, and we're working on getting the word out. And
yeah, that's what this is about. This channel I started was because we get to meet lots of really cool people that are doing cool things, and that's what we want to do. We want to kind of, if we can, get some eyes on it. That's what we're doing. So
great.
Before we start, though, can you introduce yourself as a...
Sure,
please go ahead.
Happy to.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name's John Murn. I grew up in Wisconsin. It's a very small town.
Okay.
Still 3 stoplights there in
Beautiful.
scenic
Okay.
Dodgeville, Wisconsin.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah, went to school there. Lived in New York a little bit after university.
Oh,
went
wow.
traveling.
Big difference, yeah.
And first moved to Taiwan in 2007.
Okay.
I've lived here 3 different times now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Got to be coming up on about 9 years all in. After teaching for a while, I worked in advertising. So I worked in ad agencies and at other kinds of companies in
Taiwan?
marketing. Correct.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So last summer, my work situation changed. I decided to stay freelance, and the winter before this, I guess a bit more than a year ago, we started All Hands Taiwan.
Yes.
So I've been dedicating a lot of my time to that. So for the past...
How long has it been, All Hands?
Our first event was January 2019, so just over a year actually.
Okay. Oh, wow,
of
really?
having it going. Yeah.
Okay, that's it's made quite some noise for 1 year, man.
Yeah, we've been lucky to.
Yeah.
We underestimated the demand, but it was also wasn't really clear where the demand was going to be. So,
sure. Yeah, that's how it always is when you start something, right? I think that's amazing. I mean, for people that don't know, if you could summarize what is All Hands Taiwan. Before that, thanks. Cheers, brother. I know you're a busy guy.
Cheers to you.
Thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it. Salud.
Thank you.
Yeah?
My pleasure. Yeah, I'm happy to
Please do.
introduce All Hands. Basically, kind of summer and fall 2018, I was in a place where I was starting to look for a good cause for myself.
Okay.
I know a lot of people. I have a lot of friends that
Love it.
have altruistic work.
Okay.
They help people. They help the environment. They help animals. And I found myself in a place where I felt I was comfortable enough in my career that I also wanted some more fulfilling opportunities. And so I started looking for volunteering. I didn't actually find, I wanted something sustained, right? Like I do join environmental cleanups and things like that.
Sure,
but,
those are cool. Yeah.
But it's also sporadic, right?
Yeah,
so I was kind of
definitely.
looking for something I could dedicate myself to, and between schedule and work and other things and language barrier. I mean, I speak passing Chinese, but I'm not out there speaking Taiyu or anything like that.
Taiyu is you get the Chinese going and you're like, oh, Chinese is pretty good, and then they start Taiwanese. I'm like, oh man, I'm
one
tapping
thing to
out
the
on
next,
that.
Exactly. So essentially, I couldn't find something that really was a fit. So I started to think about maybe I could start something on my own. I've done a lot of public speaking for my career.
Okay.
And I noticed that ever since I had moved from teaching to other work, whenever I meet new people still in Taiwan, I meet people who ask in earnest, like, how did you get a job? How did you find a job that's not teaching? Because it's hard,
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
There's not job boards in English. The companies don't know where to look for talent, and people fall in love with Taiwan and they want to stay here, but it's hard to figure it out. And there's more foreigners now than ever before, but I also theorize, is my idea, that there's probably also now more foreigners who are teachers or students who don't have a friend that's doing something outside of teaching. So
I agree 100%, man.
Even the basic advice that someone could offer, and there's not, I mean, you can all offer advice, but there's not a tried and true way, right? Like finding a job outside of teaching,
for sure.
Everybody I've met has kind of figured it out in their own weird way, right?
Yeah.
And so essentially I turned that continuous question that I was hearing into the idea of, well, why don't we have networking events? One thing that occurred to me is the thing that sustained my career in Taiwan has been networking. The people I know.
Sure.
When I've needed a new job, I've turned to my network, and now my freelance projects largely come from people reaching out to me and say, hey, we work together, I have a project, or someone says, hey, so-and-so said you do this, I have this project, right? So that's really sustains me.
Yeah, sure.
And so the idea was, well, why not try to let other people be resources for them, for one another within the community, right? Because if there are truly, let's say, more people now that don't have a friend who's not a teacher or student, then that means those people need resources.
Yeah, I agree. Wow.
So at this time I met Danny Miller, who's my business partner at All Hands.
Sure.
He hadn't been back in Taiwan too long. He works for a company that actually helps bring interns here, paid interns from Europe.
You know what? Yes. Okay. I haven't met him, but I've heard of him from many different people. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he works for a great company called Pagoda Projects.
Okay.
And he was enthusiastic about the idea, and then we just decided, okay, let's take the plunge and let's have some networking events and see if we can offer something of value to people.
Sure. Okay.
And so we planned 4 events at the start because I think we wanted to communicate to people that this is something we intended to continue doing. As you've lived here a long time.
For sure. Yeah. Things come and go like in an instant, right?
And I think that's one of the feelings a lot of foreigners in Taiwan have. There's been a lot of good resources, whether it's for work or the arts or for music, that eventually kind of come and go, and people are leery about whether a new thing is going to last. And
for sure.
We were blown away that our first event had 100 people show up. Our second event had 120 people show up. We had standing room only, and beyond that, what was amazing was we really didn't know almost anyone in the audience. So
that's amazing. It's not just your buddies showing up, right?
Right.
That's crazy. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and that's kind of part of the reason we didn't know what the impact would be or what the demand was, because all these people that we hadn't met apparently were interested in this kind of opportunity.
Wow. I think that's pretty. Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's, when you try something new, you never really know how it's going to go. And you're right. People really they think things are not going to last. But I think since the first time I've seen sort of the All Hands Taiwan thing pop up, I was like, oh, it looks like the logo looks good. The pictures look great. It looks like a good time. And I haven't been to any events, but I'm always meaning to go. But with restaurants, it's hard to get out.
Yep.
But right now we've got one. We had 2 for a little bit, and we kind of downsized a little bit. And one of the reasons is because I actually want to get out and do some stuff, and I would love to go and just check it out and see what's going on.
Yeah, we'd love
it's
to
always
have you.
fun. Networking is always fun, man. I love checking it out. And I see you guys have Luca there, selling his food.
Yeah, we got tacos.
Shout out to Luca. Yeah,
all
he's a
the
good
time.
guy. Yeah, Luca's a good guy for sure. I know him pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, great food.
Yeah. So Luca's a solid guy, man. Excellent. Wow. Nice. That's a nice story, man. And So far, so good, right?
Absolutely. We've had an event basically every month.
Really?
We try
Okay.
to do once a month. We cover
Okay.
all different kinds of topics. So the style of the event is that we host a panel discussion and then open networking after.
Sure.
So kind of
Okay.
try to give a theme to each one. So
Is it always kind of the same format? You go
So
in and it's a
far-
mix. You get like a mixer at the beginning, and then a
Yeah,
speech?
so far that's been the format for us.
Okay.
You can arrive early, have a beer, catch some tacos with Luca. We
Okay.
also occasionally have other local vendors in.
Okay, nice.
And then every month is a different topic. So next week is our February event, for example.
Yeah,
The topic
that's
will
on the
be
list, yeah.
career growth. So this
Okay.
is about, maybe you found your first job, but how do you progress to, into a management role, or how do you
Sure,
go
yeah,
about
yeah.
looking for your next job? It may not be any easier to find your second job than it was to find your first job.
For sure, I agree.
So
Yeah, okay.
we always look for a good mix on the panel.
Okay.
Both not only men and women, people from all different countries, people from different industries. We have a lot of Taiwanese panelists
Okay,
because
beautiful.
they can offer perspective on
Sure, of course.
hiring or working or
Okay.
culture. And
Excellent.
so in addition to the monthly events, we had a job fair in September.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the job fair. Yeah, it seemed to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, sort of foreign sort of job event. Could you tell us about that a little bit?
To our knowledge, other than
Yeah.
university job fairs,
Okay,
it
well,
was
that's-
probably
yeah.
the biggest international job fair in Taiwan.
Wow,
ever.
which is amazing for your first try.
Yeah.
That's pretty. So that will be an annual thing?
That
or-
will be an annual thing. We just had a meeting today, actually, with Taipei City government. We're hoping for a good partnership there.
Beautiful,
We get a
okay.
lot of help. AIT has a program called the Talent Circulation Alliance, working
Okay,
with the Taiwan
okay.
government, and so they're a partner. So All Hands is a charter member of the
Okay.
TCA.
It's pretty
So-
amazing for 1 year, man. Wow.
It's
Okay.
really crazy. Like you said, you don't know what impact you might make
Yeah.
when you start something. But it's kind of one of those things about human nature where we're not as unique as we think, right? It's like if you want something or if you need something, there's probably quite a lot of other people
lot of
that
people.
want or need that thing.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
we've been fortunate. The job fair was big. We had 1,000 people. We had 25 companies. And we're doing a lot of stuff. We're also writing a white paper with the American Chamber of Commerce. So
Wow, okay.
I will leave with you, if you don't mind, a link.
Yeah, please do.
we
Yeah,
have
I'll throw it up for sure. Yeah,
we
for
have
sure.
we have a survey, so we want to
Okay. I saw that.
understand
Yeah.
foreigner life in Taiwan, because we've found that there's a great misunderstanding, or not misunderstanding. There's simply no information.
There is no
so-
information. Yeah, definitely.
The government doesn't understand what it's like to live here as a foreigner. The government doesn't understand the challenges that companies have trying to find international talent. So we want to try and help offer some perspective on that.
I also think that the locals don't really know, because I've been here for 17 years, right? I'm married. I speak Chinese, but I'm on APRC, but I can never get a Taiwan ID unless I cancel my Canadian citizenship, which I'm not going to do, right?
Yeah.
So it's but nobody knows that. I mean, we know that because it affects us, but when I talk to my local friends or local customers or local anybody, they're like, oh, wow, you have your Taiwan ID now, right? I'm like, no, I have the APRC. And they're like, well, what's that? I'm like, well, it's the long-term ARC. And they're like, oh, so it's like an ID. I'm like, well, it's similar, but I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And they're just like, but you've been here for like 17 years. You have your business here. You have your family here. You speak the language.
Pay taxes.
Yeah,
for a
you
long
pay
time.
taxes for like almost 20 years. Like, what? And I'm like, yeah, no. They're like, no, that can't be right. I'm like, no, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, look it up, look into it, because it's the truth. Yeah, they don't know. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, yeah, no, it's not a knock on them. It's just people are like, they just kind of assume, oh yeah, he's been here a long time, he's got ID, but I can't get ID.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, I think that that's amazing. I think what you're doing is amazing. That's why I wanted to have you on, man. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's jump on the next one. The next
Sure.
one is a chipotle. Chipotle. I mean, you can just jump in on that. You can go
Sure.
wing, drumstick, whatever you want. So this is also a sauce that we make.
Okay.
Yeah, we make most of the ones here.
That one's got a little sweetness.
It does. Yeah.
How spicy is it going to get here? Am I going to be in pain at the end?
This round is okay. The last couple of the last round, there's only 2 rounds. They're a little spicier, but it's pretty. I mean, we want the spices just to get, kind of shake it up a little bit, do something different.
Yep.
But yeah, it's all right.
Great.
No. So you mentioned the Talent Circulation Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was when I was doing some research, I found that, and that's pretty cool. I didn't find much, but I figured let's ask. What is that?
Sure.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Well, you may have heard about a policy that was brought on by Taiwan's government.
Yeah.
In English,
Wet
I think
naps
it's
as well if you need. Yeah.
In English, I think it's generally referred to as the southbound policy.
Okay.
And the concept is to stimulate business and exchange throughout Southeast Asia.
Okay.
And the Talent Circulation Alliance is it wasn't born as part of that, but I think it's it kind of helps to serve this approach to improve Taiwan's relationships and business connections to like-minded economies. So, it's focused on connecting Taiwan, strengthening bonds with other democratic economies.
Sure. Okay. Okay.
And by connecting and strengthening, that their focus is on things like improving, the visa processes for these countries.
Yes,
intern programs, trade and business, franchising. It supports all kinds of kind of cross-border, business exchange and talent, like it says in the name, talent circulation, right?
So that's a government-run thing, or is that from the AIT, or is that kind of like a?
Yeah, no, it's a separate organization.
Okay.
AIT is central to it, and the Taiwan government, other NGOs contribute to it actually.
Okay.
So III, which I always miss up, I think it's called the I'm going to mess it up.
It's okay, no worries, man.
I think it's the Institute for the Industries of Information.
Okay.
They work closely with a lot of government government departments as well. Fulbright Foundation contributes to the TCA, and so there's a number of other organizations. If you go to talentcirculation.org, that's the website.
That's the site. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll put that in the description and stuff down there. That's cool. Very cool, man.
Yeah.
So the job fair that you guys put on, the big one, who would set up booths, and how would they go to, how would they come about setting up a booth with you guys?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, the first time we did it, we obviously, it's one of those things you've never done before. So
yeah, of course. Yeah, sure.
We just kind of went about it the only ways that made sense to us. So we went about it in terms of being proactive in our business development. But of course, if there's a company that wants to have a booth at the next job fair, by all means, reach out on the website, allhandstaiwan.com. You can contact us on Facebook. You can send us a message. If you're connected to me, you can reach out directly.
Okay.
But at the first job fair, we had a variety of options, different kind of table sizes, booth sizes, different marketing opportunities.
Of course, okay.
And at the job fair, we also offered speaking sessions throughout the day. So people who are familiar with our events also will understand, there's sessions throughout the day that are interesting. So at the last job fair, the first session was actually a number of government officials talking about changing policies and things that are evolving.
That's great. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Danny led a panel with Taipei City about internships in Taiwan.
Okay.
A couple of the companies, Trend Micro had a speaking session, and Unity Chain, a blockchain company, had a speaking session. So we don't just want it to be the kind of job fair where people kind of buzz through, drop off a bunch of resumes, and take off.
Sure. Yeah. That's cool.
Luca was there. We had a couple of food vendors.
Nice.
Taihu Brewing was there.
Okay.
So,
shout out to those guys.
We wanted to kind of be an event for people to spend some time at, and
if you get something to eat, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, get something to eat, have a beer, check out. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So for us, it was kind of grassroots, and we did everything from cold emailing companies to obviously looking in our own networks and try to get introduced to companies.
Of course. Yeah. You got to look in your own network first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
The response was really positive. We're hoping to have quite a lot of those companies back for this fall, and we also had.
When was it? Sorry.
That was September 28th.
Okay, and you want to do the same in September?
Yeah, we're targeting September, I think, again this year. So hopefully we'll be able to land the date we want. The venue will have to be much bigger. This past year we were actually, in a weird way, we were lucky to have bad weather because we packed the venue, but the weather was bad, and we had about 1,800 people pre-registered.
Okay.
And then throughout the day, we had about 1,000 people turn up, which was a maximum of where we were at on that venue. So
where was the venue? Sorry?
It was it's a space called Avenue.
Okay, no, I don't know
which
that one.
is on Anho Road. So it's kind of it's walkable from Heping and Anho Road. Yeah, so it's kind of a co-working space, and, it was good for us because they had the option for like rooms where we could have the speeches separate, separate from the floor and things like that.
I think the co-working space thing is sort of kind of booming a little bit right now. I mean, they're popping up all over the place. I see you guys do a lot of your events at the Hive, right? Is it you guys have some kind of collab with these guys, or
we're not we're not committed to the Hive, but we do have events there. A number of the co-working spaces. You're right. Future Word is another one where we have a lot of our events, and that's a co-working space as well. The co-working boom in Taipei is very real.
It's real, right? It's like, whoa, what happened? And people are like, oh, I'm going here. One of my buddies, he was teaching, and now he just went over to manage one called CAFNU, right? And he's like, oh, it's great. You got to come and check it out. And he sent me some pictures, and I'm like, holy, it looks huge. It looks incredible. Yeah.
No, they're in the same way that other, I guess, industries are being disrupted with new ideas. This is, I think they're really revolutionizing what small companies especially can do, but people who are traveling or remote workers or independent entrepreneurs, it gives you resources that you need. It gives you an office outside your home, which is necessary.
It's definitely necessary. It's hard to work at home.
For me, it's hard to work at home.
Yeah.
And they're on top of that, they're cultivating these nice, comfortable spaces to be in. So you're not just in some cube next to somebody else. There's a lot of natural light. They try to find interesting buildings in good neighborhoods, and then as part of what they do, because they have member companies, it's beneficial to them to have events, right? It draws people into their space. So it's marketing, and it works well for us because I don't know where else we would have events. I guess maybe a cafe or a bar, but then you have trouble with like smaller, sound and space and those kinds of things.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that in the last couple of years, all of this that boom was like, wow, I was pretty shocked with that. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, very cool, man. So, do you have are you guys planning the next one, the September one, or?
Actually, the goal will be to do 2 a year. But the way things are going this year, we're trying to be cautious about the coronavirus and where people are at on that. And to be honest, with the size of the event, the number of venues available to us are not that many. So we're learning how far in advance you need to book and how much it costs. And so this year we'll be doing one, and the goal is to do 2 job fairs a year moving forward. So as I said today, we met with actually TCA and III and Taipei City Government. So we're hoping to have a very big venue that everybody knows well. I'm not going to drop the name here because
no problem,
no ink is dried on that yet.
Okay, sure, of course.
But it's always we're anticipating thousands of people at the job fair. We had 1,000 at the first one, and at this venue and with the list of companies we believe we'll be able to entice now that we're bigger than we were 6 months ago. We have a lot of great important partners who hopefully will help bring in companies that want to be there, and beyond that, I think we're still learning how to market to the Taiwanese audience. So while the job fair, while our main audience is foreigners, it's also international Taiwanese who've lived abroad, studied abroad, or just who like to meet diverse people. And we do anticipate having events this year in Chinese, and also at the job fair, it's not really valuable for the companies to only bring their jobs for foreigners, because most of those companies are only going to be hiring for maybe one token person, right?
True.
You got a BD guy who speaks German, or you need someone in a specific role. So the companies are also
so easy, right, to hire a foreigner.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the companies are also bringing their jobs for Taiwanese. So the job fair is for everybody. It's not only for foreigners to come in.
Sure. Yeah. And so there's a fee. They can come in. They can check out the place, listen to the speeches. It's free.
For job seekers, it's free.
Wow.
The companies, there's different opportunities for the companies to participate, but for attendees, it's free.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's very cool, man. Like I said, what you're doing is pretty amazing. I mean, for 1 year, it's like, it's pretty shocking, because you saying that it's only been a year is like, wow. Yeah. It kind of blows me away a little bit, because it feels like All Hands has been like the for this, for years. It seems like it's weird, man. It's a crazy one.
Yeah, our
Crazy
heads are
one.
spinning a little bit too.
Yeah, for sure. That's what happens, right? Let's jump on the next wing.
Sure.
The next one is sort of a Cayenne-based one. But yeah, help yourself. You want the drum or whatever you got, man. Yeah.
There you go.
No problem so far, yeah?
No.
Easy peasy.
Sure.
You just came from Mexico, man. That's like the motherland.
Yeah, I got myself into a little habanero trouble here and there.
Oh, sure.
It was good.
Mexico is a next level, you know. Like, I eat spicy, but you know, when you go to Mexico, there's also levels to the game. You know, children will be eating spicier than me, and I'm like, how's that possible? Kids will be like, what are you talking about? More hot sauce and everything. You're just like, wow, okay.
Yeah, we there was a couple places where we asked the guys for something spicier, and they got a real kick out of watching us.
I bet. Yeah. That's funny. We get that sometimes. We have a couple of really hot. Well, we'll try some of them later. Some really spicy ones, and that's kind of reserved for someone who really wants something spicy. Yeah. So for like, as a foreigner, trying to find, like you're saying, trying to find info on jobs and stuff like that, it's not possible. So how are you guys finding this info, and how are you guys displaying it to? I mean, on the website, I checked the website out. It looks great. How are you guys able to find this info? What's your source?
There's no secret. There's no secret sauce. I mean,
Okay.
it's a lot of legwork. Like
Sure.
at the job fair last fall, I was a bit confused and amused. I was surprised how many people asked me, "How did you guys do this?" And the
Yeah.
reality is, we didn't know how to do it or not do it. We just decided we were going to do it, and we set out contacting companies. We marketed it and tried to get people to come in. And so,
How's the response from a company? You just cold call a company and be like, "Hey, we're doing this. What do you think?"
You know, it spans the spectrum, everything you can imagine,
Of
right?
course,
so,
I can imagine, yeah.
some companies responded to cold emails where we were able to reach out to an
Sure.
HR person and send them a deck that offered the information in Chinese, and then
Okay.
maybe earned us an email that we could have a phone call with.
Sure, okay.
You know, a few companies hire a lot of international talent, so they were very eager to speak with us, right?
Okay,
But
okay.
it's kind of, you know, it's a little bit all over the place. So sometimes we certainly had high hopes for certain companies we thought we would appeal to, and maybe it didn't work
And it
out.
didn't work out,
And there's
okay.
also a lot of companies that we were kind of like, these guys aren't going to need us, and then, you know, they wanted to be there. So
Okay.
you can't really predict it. And every company, you know, there's trends, the markets go up and down, and,
Sure.
and so there's different hiring situations all the time.
So you guys, there's no secret sauce. I mean, it's just like, how do you even find the list? You just doing the research of companies to hit up for stuff like that?
Well,
I mean, without spilling your secrets.
okay,
I'm
there's
just
one
curious. Yeah,
one
yeah.
thing that
Okay.
you bring to mind that I don't really want to reveal. But
Okay, well then don't do it.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
you know, like
just-
to tell you about the job fair process, the way
Yeah.
that we went about it was
Okay.
first we considered who do we know at what companies. So we
Okay.
opened a spreadsheet. There's 4 of us, the main stakeholders in All Hands now.
Okay.
We opened a spreadsheet. We listed the companies where we know somebody and we thought we could try to earn a conversation.
Sure,
So
okay,
then we
okay.
set about assigning ourselves who's reaching out to which company.
Okay.
Then, you know, we went on LinkedIn. We looked at our connections of people maybe we don't know, but we're connected online
Okay.
and we could reach out to. So, you know, you want to try and work those angles first, right?
Of course,
Word of
yeah,
mouth
that
is always
warm
the
market,
strongest
right?
thing.
Yeah, sure.
Then beyond that, the part that is a little bit more proprietary to us,
Sure.
we
Okay.
looked at other resources where you could find out about job postings, where you could find out
Okay.
about company listings. You know, there's a
Okay.
lot of places you can look. For example, if you look at the science park websites in every city, it lists all the companies in the science park, and for some of them, maybe it lists contact info and things like that.
Oh,
so
wow.
we were really
Oh, that's
scouring
cool.
and going everywhere.
Well, that's pretty pretty cool, unique, yeah.
But back to your original question, how do we
Sure.
find this stuff? You know, even if you look on the website now, every month we do an events blog post. It's not just about ours. We try to find every event in English we can for
Okay.
networking
Okay, sure.
to make that available to people.
Okay.
And the way we do that is, we sit on Facebook and look at the events calendar for the month. You look
Yeah.
at Taipei, Taichung, Kaohsiung. You go to meetup.com.
Yeah,
you know,
Meetup
we're
is a
on
good
the
one, yeah.
chambers of commerce emailing lists. So we're doing it the only way that we know how, which is to kind of just
pretty amazing.
Go for it. And,
but it's pretty good turnout for that. That's amazing.
Good. But one thing your question also prompts is something I haven't talked about yet is we're actually building a job board. So we don't.
One of my questions for sure. Yeah.
So we don't have a deadline yet. It's very much in the works. It works, and I've seen it. But we're not yet ready to start inviting users and companies. But that's going to be something where the job board will be in multiple languages. So again,
very cool.
Just like with the job fair, eventually it's going to be jobs for Taiwanese and for foreigners. Because also, it's a really niche market, right? It's a little bit too niche to justify its own job board, right?
Of course, sure.
But we're working on that. We're excited about it. We're hoping that also, with the next job fair, we can maybe make that more enticing to companies, right? Maybe they can bundle the opportunity to be on the job board and also come to the job fair. And that's been a huge learning experience as well, right? And you look at the market, you look at what are the established resources like 104.com, 1111, U-Rater, and obviously all in Chinese, right?
Sure, all in Chinese. It's hard to find for a non, like I can speak, but I can't read, right? Yeah. It's you look at those and you're lost in seconds, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, we hope to not only offer an English or multilingual experience, we're also hoping to offer something a bit different in the same way that our community already offers something beyond a job-seeking opportunity. There's networking, there's other resources. We try to educate people about the other resources available. We try to tell people about things like government programs like the Gold Card or the Entrepreneur Visa.
I read your Gold Card thing today. Yeah, it was very cool. Yeah, very cool. There are a couple of other foreign sort of websites like Formosa and what is Telit and Taiwanese, right?
Sure.
Do you guys do anything with them, or do you know any of those guys? Or it's a different thing, I know, but
we had some discussion with Formosa about possibly doing cross promotion for the last job fair. I don't think we ended up finalizing that. It was kind of last minute. I think for the next job fair that makes a lot of sense.
It's the biggest, I think, right? Formosa. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I think.
I'm not sure the statistics. It's a very busy website. There's a lot of people on there. We try to use as many resources at our disposal as we can. We're on Reddit. When we post our events, we post on Reddit. We post on Formosa. Facebook, LinkedIn, and any other local resources that are like-minded.
Sure. Okay. And you get a pretty good response when somebody wants to, when you're talking about, let's cross promote, let's collab on something. Usually you get a pretty decent response from most people.
Kind of, we're very lucky, kind of in the way that you're positive and excited about this. A lot of people.
It's great. I love it.
Have a good response for it. So where there's a fit, whenever possible, it's an exciting conversation if we can find room to cross promote things.
Yeah. I mean, like for me, like I said, I've been here for 17 years, and it's. Until I think you guys, there's almost no way to find a job unless word of mouth. Somebody knows somebody who needs this or that, and you're like, okay. And if you're not teaching, it's definitely tough. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like I coached soccer here for a long time. I still do it now, actually, a little bit, and I've actually helped the guys that own the soccer school with helping them to staff with coaches, because luckily I get to also meet a lot of people in the restaurant, and they'll be like, I coached back here, I'd like to do something out here, and I instantly like, okay, hey, call this guy, go meet with them, and it's pretty cool. Like word of mouth is the best, but it's also the slowest, I think, right?
Yeah, sure.
For sure.
It takes a long time to grow your network.
For sure.
It's also about timing. If somebody needs something at that time.
Exactly. And I also think that in Taiwan, one of the bummers is people leave, right? I mean, I've been here a long time, and I've had many amazing friends leave. Go back to the States, go back to Canada, go back to the UK.
Yeah, absolutely true.
And it's kind of you think, okay, this guy, he'll be around for forever, because I feel that I will be. Yeah. But it's just not to be sometimes, right?
Yeah, that's the case. And I feel that way too. I think I'm going to be here in the long term.
You feel like it, right?
But
it's a great place, man. Yeah, it's a great place. I love it here. You said you come from a small town, right? I also come from a really small town. I'm not sure how many stoplights we have, but we've got about 8,000 people, so it's pretty small. I love going back to visit. It's a great place, but it's tough to go back for, for work or something like that. There's not really. Well, right now it's kind of booming. There's a natural gas pipeline thing going on, but usually it's kind of like, you know, you work at the mill or the smelter or whatever, and you know, that's about it. Which is fine, and it's good money and stuff like that. But you know, after coming out here, like, I'm doing so many things, and I meet so many cool people, and you know, I like it out here, and you know, I do like to visit. So I think this year we're due for a visit. Hopefully, if we can get, you know, staffed good enough by the summer, then we should be good. Yeah. Right.
Gotta get home when you can, for sure.
Yeah, man. Do you get back much, or
Basically once a year.
Okay.
You know, it's a long trip.
It is a long trip. You got to go for a month at least, right?
You can't go for less
3
than
to
a couple
5
weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, agree, brother. Right on. Let's jump on the last one of the first round. So this one is made by a company called Flavor the World, and this sauce is special in that he made this sauce for vegetarians, but like the Taiwanese Buddhist vegetarians that do not eat garlic and do not eat. Let's get round 2. Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's a pretty solid sauce. So there's no garlic, no onion. Obviously, there's no you know, nothing else. But yeah, it's good. I mean, it's pretty good.
There you go. Yeah, you wouldn't know. No garlic, no onion. Is it a local sauce, or just something you happen on elsewhere?
That's a local company called Flavor the World. Also an expat.
Okay.
It's got a pretty good little hot sauce business, and we make most of ours, all of ours really, but I'll buy his and I'll give them out to people. People can try them, and
Nice.
and if they like him, we actually have some bottles for him. You know, we sell bottles for him and stuff, and just kind of helping, right? So doing what we can. But yeah, for us, onion and garlic is a base for almost everything, right? So it's like, wow. When I came here and people were talking about vegetarian, and I said, yeah, no problem. That doesn't have any meat or meat products or whatever. They're like, oh no, but this cannot have onion, no garlic, no. There's a couple other things, and I was like blown away. Like, no onion and garlic. Wow. So he's done a good job on a sauce with no onion and no garlic. So
Yeah, it was quite nice.
so that's that. So we finished the round 1. That was a pretty easy one there. They got the next round coming. Oh, it's cool. It's here already. Nice. So you said on the 26th you have a Grow Your Career event. Yeah,
That's right.
So where is that going to be at?
That'll be at the Hive, like
At
you
the Hive?
mentioned.
Okay, like the Hive. Okay.
So the Hive is
Thank you.
The Hive is in what used to be the Kingstone Bookstore building down,
Okay. Thank you.
right downtown by the 228 Park.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
It's a great Japanese era building.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful.
Walkable from Shimen MRT or Main Station.
Okay.
Yeah, and we do our events in the evening, so we try to schedule it a little later so that people can get there after dinner. So the panel discussion usually starts at 8, but you can come in anytime, even if you're running late. Usually doors are around 7:30. Panel discussion for about an hour and 10 minutes, question and answer session,
Okay.
and then we are open networking until we have to throw everybody out. And
Okay.
Actually,
That sounds like fun, man. Yeah. I don't know if I can make this one, but I'll definitely come out to one of the next few. I've just been getting all my stuff together right now.
Sure.
Yeah? Okay, start from that. Okay. Yeah, no, that's very cool, man. So what would be different from this one as opposed to previous ones? I know you said there's a different theme. So the theme of this one, you touched on a little bit earlier.
Sure,
but,
every month is different. So this month, the idea of Grow Your Career. So the panelists, there's an HR. There's a French woman who works at Carrefour she's an
nice.
HR role, so
Nice,
she'll
okay.
be on the panel.
Okay.
My buddy Trent, I don't want to misspeak where he is from, so I'm not gonna do that. But Trent has worked in technology companies, and I believe he's trying to get into real estate.
Okay.
He's been here a while. He's managed to go through he's had an interesting career path, so I thought he'd have a good
That's
perspective.
good
right?
stories for
He's
sure.
now just gotten on the gold card as well, so he's got different things to talk about. And
Okay.
then we have Eleanor from B. Braun. Eleanor Lynn, I believe is her last name. She's a HR lady for a German company called B. Braun.
Okay.
And then I'll be hosting. So the kind of the 4 main stakeholders for All Hands, we take turns hosting the panels.
Okay,
And so
okay.
since I've been here a long time and changed jobs, I figured I would
of
take
course.
a stab at hosting
I think-
this discussion.
I think it's good to share the stories, and I mean sometimes you feel maybe you did something this and something here or there, and you feel sort of like, oh, I failed on something. But actually, I think as long as you're learning from something, it's pretty incredible. I mean, I cut grass in college. I've done so many different jobs, and at the time you think it's nothing, but I still use a lot of the tools that I've learned. I mean,
Sure.
Like for example, my restaurant here. When I was in college, I worked at a future shop, and I was in the warehouse and also in like the home theater area, and they showed me how to do all the cabling and stuff or whatever, all that stuff. So now I cable in my house, I cable everything in the restaurant. Every time there's a mistake, I'll be like, oh, I rip out a cable. I'm like, oh, I can fix that, and people are like, what? And I'm like, I learned how to do that like freaking 20 years ago when I was a kid in college, and it's something that you think it's just a job, but the skills that you learn are pretty incredible. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Carry, without question, you can carry over skills from one job to the next. And,
for sure, yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of real world experience stuff we try to impart. And the reason we have a panel discussion rather than kind of putting one person up front is, I think anybody who goes to speaking engagements or professional events has probably been to more than enough events where there's one person put up front as maybe the expert or the person who knows everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that person's speaking to a very young audience, and unfortunately, too often that results in like generalities being spoken about on stage, and then the people who leave don't feel like they've left with something, and maybe the person who's on stage thinks they did a great job, and they don't know that there was a disconnect. So the
more
panel,
like team. It's like a team, right?
Yeah, the panel concept is it's interesting to hear different perspectives, and also we want to show that these are real people. We're not trying. I mean, it's great
if we can have famous and stuff
people
up there.
Yeah, of course. Actually, we encourage the panelists to feel free to disagree. I mean, that's what's interesting, right?
Yeah,
like,
sure, of course.
If you and I sit here the whole time and we just say yeah to everything, I mean, it might be interesting topics, but it's a little more interesting when there's contrary points of view or different experiences. Or like you said, you can talk about a failure that resulted in some other learning opportunity.
Exactly, yeah.
And so, I mean, at our last event, for example, was about life after graduation. So we had foreigners who had studied here in Taiwan, and they talked about their different experiences, and a couple of them are entrepreneurs, a couple of them have jobs in different industries, and so they all just talk about, that's the point every month, is whether we're doing small businesses or we're doing freelance or we're talking about graduating from university. The idea is to just give these useful different perspectives, and at the end of every one of our panel discussions, I always tell the panelists that we've learned to stock the front of the room with beers and water, because at the end of the Q&A, the panelists never get to move because the crowd comes up and they want to ask specific questions.
Sure.
Maybe
Makes
one
sense,
person's in an industry that they're interested in, or just they said something interesting and we
brain
didn't get to them in the Q&A. And so the panelists are always, at the end of every event, all the panelists are amazed at like, wow, everybody was so curious about this, or it was, it was so nice to be able to share this. And so, that was what we were hoping for. I think it's, like I said, it can be unfulfilling to go to an event and hear one person speak in generalities. But if you're hearing real people talk about their experiences, there can be a lot to take away from that.
Beautiful. I love that, man. Yeah, I'm gonna come out to one. I don't know if I can come out to the one this month, but every month, right? And you change venues and stuff.
Just depends. Check the flyer and check the event page. So so far,
the website, you're updating that guy yourself, or you have some. The website looks great, man. I went through it today and last week as well when I contacted you, or when it was 2 weeks ago. The website looks great, man.
Thank you.
I love the logo.
We do that.
Got to get some merch going on.
We had a couple
All Hands t-shirts going on.
That's true. We had shirts for Pride. I think we might have a few leftovers if anybody wants one. We did the kind of a rainbow logo.
Okay, very cool.
But the logo, thank you for mentioning it.
Very cool.
At the beginning, having worked in marketing and advertising, I felt it was important for us to have a recognizable brand. And
I love it.
We were lucky to work with a really talented young designer at the beginning, and she's focusing on grad school now, but she really gave us strong footing with the logos and also some of the early event images. She kind of set the tone for that.
I think one of the keys for the logo is always like unique but simple, right? Not too many colors, because I mean, in the beginning, also when we started with the restaurant, we had like a what looks like a very cool logo, lots of colors and stuff. But as soon as you try to put that on anything, you can't.
Yeah.
Or it costs you 10 times more to do anything, and you're like,
printing is.
And then they're like, well, I'm going to take this color. I'm going to take this color. I'm like, well, then it doesn't look like our logo anymore. So simple is definitely good, man. I think when it comes to a logo, True.
Yeah, we're happy with it. It came out good.
It looks great. I love it, man. Next, we're on round 2, man. First round, no problem. Next one, we got this is a jalapeno-based sauce.
Okay. I was going to say, it looks a little green.
Yeah, it's green because once in a while, we're able to get fresh jalapenos here. And so when we do it, the big ones we'll keep and we'll make poppers out of them. We'll sort of de-seed them and stuff them. And then the seeds, we throw in this sauce. So it's kind of like it's not super spicy, but it's pretty, it's pretty solid, I think. Yeah. Okay. So this is our sort of a creamy, it has garlic and onion in it. That's
sure.
Our creamy sauce. Yeah. Our creamy jalapeno. So it's a
little kick. I like it.
Yeah. I saw your post earlier about Michael Gerber and the E-Myth Revisited. That was also one of the first business books that I read when I really started to get serious into doing what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And when you read that book, when I read that book, I had been doing the business already, but I realized I was kind of like the character in the book where I'm kind of, me and my wife, we're kind of doing everything ourselves. And, you hire the accountant or whatever, and you kind of just delegate stuff, but you just give it to them and you're like, and you don't really train them. And it's a crazy story. I love the book. Do you have any sort of story or any inspiration or anything you want to share from the Michael Gerber, the E-Myth Revisited?
Man, I'm going to be honest.
You getting there? Yeah. Yeah. No. It's all right. Yeah.
That was posted by our business partner, Guillaume.
Shoot. Okay,
he's in the middle of reading it, but he's been...
Okay. Yeah.
He's been lauding it and telling me that I need to read it after him. So I'm looking forward to that.
It's actually, it's a good one because it's basically like a story where sort of a I think it's probably Michael Gerber. He goes into I think it's a bakery and he meets the owner and the place is beautiful. The food's amazing, but the owner's kind of exhausted and stuff. And they kind of start to chat and it's a great book. At the end, he's like, if you want me to do this for you, basically call this number and you can hire us as consultants. But the book is just every chapter is a different story, and it's a pretty cool book, man. Okay. Do you have any books that you recommend for sort of any kind of business owners or?
Good question.
Yeah. The very first one I read was Kiyosaki. Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Sure. Yeah. Guillaume just read that one as well.
Yeah. It's pretty solid. No pressure, just curious because I saw the post today. Yeah.
I kind of like to talk down about Tim Ferriss, but okay. I did read the 4-Hour Workweek years ago, and it was a big sensation.
Sure.
And I think there's enough takeaways in that book that I think there's something for everyone. You know?
Sure.
I'm a big skeptic when it comes to business books. I think,
of course, sure.
There's just so much room for repackaging common sense. I hate to say that.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
There's almost nothing new under the sun, right? So
sure.
Rethinking productivity or rethinking these different things, it's
so there's lots of new gurus that are just trying to make a buck as well, right?
Exactly.
They read a book, they repackage it, and they're like, hey, I can say it like this, and maybe I'll make some money, right?
Totally.
For sure.
I think the 4-Hour Workweek. Yeah. In that it offers such a wide array of things, there's something for everybody, but also in this day and age, I think Tim was really ahead of the curve on, to your point, things like delegating or things like using digital assistants, by getting, I know that these days there's a lot of companies that have obviously their customer service is in a different country where it's more affordable, or they use digital assistants,
definitely.
Using, these days, for example, chatbots have been kind of a hot thing.
Chatbots are huge. I actually dove into that about 6 months ago with Messenger, and it's been pretty good. But it's also, I can see it going both ways, right? It could be amazing where it takes your reservation for you, then it messages for us, it messages us bam, here's the reservation.
Yeah.
But if the person doesn't put exactly the right word in there, it's kind of I've had people ask the reservation bot a question can I make a reservation? And it's okay, put your number in here. And then they're okay, and they just kind of type it out, and then they're oh, what's the date? And they'll be I already said the date, and I already said how many people, and it's I already said this.
It's an imperfect
so
science,
it's really and then people are what's going on? And I'm you kind of got to jump on there. And,
right?
Yeah, so I can get that, the chat bots, yeah, definitely. So I cut you off though, man, but yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I just think for me, the 4-hour work week is one that I've revisited a couple times just because
I actually haven't read that.
I feel
one.
like there's enough different things in there.
Okay.
I mean, it's interesting. Ferris's ideas. There's places where he kind of cuts corners. There's places where he kind of cheats. Depends on what you think is cheating or not. But he gives some pretty candid and straight talking type ways to to cut out the clutter in your routines, in your business and things like that.
Understand.
And so, I mean, like it's as with any business book, it's not like you can adapt all of it, right?
Yeah,
like very few people who read that book have transitioned their life into working 4 hours a week.
Exactly.
The point is,
sure.
Maybe they were able to improve a couple different things. They were able to automate a couple different things and make life better that way.
I think industry specific things are good because, for example, I've read lots of these books and I've been able to implement some stuff, but recently I bought sort of a course by this guy. He's a restaurant consultant in the States. He's got a YouTube channel called The Restaurant Boss, and I bought a course from him, and I bought sort of the deluxe package where I get one-on-one with him. And one of the reasons I closed the other place down was because I couldn't get to it. I really want to get that going because we've got a lot of potential here, and we've got a lot of people that want to do things with the restaurant. They're like, oh, let's, maybe franchise or whatever, right? And they're like, they want it now. They're like, let's franchise. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
Sure.
I know how to do everything myself, but when I delegate it, something's missing because it should be, I mean, for lack of a better term, like a McDonald's. Mm-hmm. I mean, whether you guys like their food or not, it's the same all the time. Anywhere in the world, you go to Thailand and you get a Big Mac and it's going to taste pretty much the same, right? Yeah. But I mean, we grind our corn, we make everything here, which is good, but there's also more chances for error like that. So this guy is a restaurant specific guy and this is what he does. And so I'm pretty excited to really dive into that because I've bought other mini courses. I've gone to, there's another thing called Start at the Top. It's a thing that's happening. It's a course that starts here and then it goes to Hong Kong. We bought in, we went in, we tried it out. To get the deluxe package where they actually dive into your business with you, it was about 2 million NT. So we didn't do that. But they were kind of generalizing. This is not a knock on them, but they kind of generalized every business as it's the same. And whenever I get that, it's hard for me to like your something that's going to work in your business, implement that into a restaurant. It's a different thing, right? And I feel like I hope that this restaurant guy is going to be the guy to really help close that gap for me because that's a main thing for me. I've been doing it for 12 years and we're pretty good at it, but I always want to learn, and I know that something's missing to the point where I'm willing to find somebody that knows it and I'll pay and let's get it done. So I'm excited about that. Definitely. Yeah. Very cool, man. How you feeling on the spice? You all right?
It's good. That one had some bite.
Had a little bit, right? A little bit. Not too bad. That's actually one of my favorites, that one.
Yeah, the flavor was good.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right? I think. Horchata, right?
Yeah.
Did you get some horchata
you guys
in
making
Mexico?
Your own horchata?
We do. We basically make our own everything.
That's what you just mentioned.
Yeah,
that. That's right.
We just make our own everything.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
Except for sour cream. We just buy it from Costco because we've actually made our own, but buying the cream and getting it done and all that, it's probably more expensive than Costco. Yeah. And it's like, but sour cream, but everything else we make it. Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, the horchata's nice. I haven't had one. Actually, I didn't get one in Mexico.
You didn't get one in Mexico,
I was too busy drinking margaritas.
Yeah, hey. Well, I'll take a margarita over an horchata for sure. Yeah, I love it, man. So where do you see, or 5 years? Where would you see, or where would you like to see All Hands in 5? I know it's only been 1 year, but it feels like 5, probably, right? Because it's been.
It feels like quite a few.
Yeah. And it feels like, I mean, it seems to be the premier sort of company in this niche, I think.
At the moment,
I mean, I haven't seen anything else, and it made such a big splash that it was. I don't know how I got wind of it, but I think it was on Facebook. It just all of a sudden was just there, and then it was like, oh, All Hands, right? So actually, when I started this, one of the ideas is I love to share these ideas with things like All Hands that maybe people don't know about. And yeah, I'd love just getting more eyes on people doing cool stuff,
Sure,
man. So,
sure.
so 5 years. What do you think? What are you thinking?
Well, the first priority for us is to understand if a job board is going to be a viable business model.
Okay.
So we didn't start this as a business, right? We started
sure.
this. We were volunteering. We're still not
Sure.
a company, so we're
Okay.
still all volunteers.
Okay.
We don't
okay.
get paid.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Eventually, it would be nice if it made some money.
It would be
after
nice
all
to
this
make some
work.
money. Sure. Yeah.
But I think the first thing for us is to find out if the business model is viable as a job board.
Okay.
It's one of these things where companies have come in and like I mentioned earlier, kind of shaken up their industry. And when you look at these other job board websites that are very well established, they have databases, they have great linking systems, they have a lot of intuitive technology.
Yeah.
But there's other ways that we want to try to find to improve through user experience. We want to make it more enjoyable to look for a job if we can. And so, if I had to, what's a success look like in 5 years? Probably, definitely would want to continue having the monthly events here.
Okay,
Being based in Taiwan is always going to be core to All Hands.
Okay, sure.
I think that community will sustain anything that we're doing.
Okay.
But I think if we're really still successful in 5 years, I don't believe that will be because the job board will have grown to other countries.
Okay. Maybe Asia.
If Taiwan, primarily we'll look in the region first, but
Sure, okay.
If Taiwan has this situation where you have a group of people who struggle to find work, but you also have a government and a set of markets that want to internationalize, right? There's mutual need. So it's possible that the job board concept could...
Lily, can you switch that quick? Battery, yeah? Sorry.
No
just
problem.
give it a sec. It's still going, yeah.
Sure.
Sorry, I just cut you off, but we just upgraded this camera. And it's good, but I don't know. I bought it so that it could charge and be on at the same time, which it does sometimes. So it's kind of like,
sure.
It's a weird thing.
No problem.
But okay, so 5 years.
So I think if there are other markets in the region that have this kind of need, then having the website already built will be easy enough to kind of. Then it becomes a business development question, right? You don't rebuild the website.
You can just kind of
go and let's say it's Indonesia or Vietnam that you want to move into markets. Then then you need to be marketing it to their job seekers and their companies. So I would say as a company that would be success in 5 years. As a community organization, which we'll always be. So we're in the process of becoming both a company and having a nonprofit organization. And so in terms of being a community organization, I would say success in 5 years would involve, offering a lot more involved events. So, we haven't actually done any workshops. A lot of people have asked if we're going to do workshops, if we're going to do consulting and things like that. And I think there's room for it.
I believe there is.
At the moment, there hasn't yet been time for it, and we need to also be able to assess what is our expertise, what can we offer, and I think we certainly are in a position to bring in other experts that would offer valuable workshops and things like that. So, the community organization, it's easy to see what a 5 year success story would look like, right?
Sure.
Just to continue to grow and offer things to people and hopefully inform the government. I think that's something that the guys at the core of All Hands have become passionate about. Is we would like to, we're trying to assist in the job seeking process by helping people have access to resources they need. But now that we've had a taste of it and we're friendly with some more impactful organizations, we're hungry to make actual change. We'd like to see laws be improved. We'd like to see visa policies be improved. I'd like to see you and me become citizens of Taiwan if we're living here in 10 years.
I would love it. I mean, like I said, I've been here for 17 years. And one of my stories is when I was teaching before, when I told this story probably before. I was teaching and I was changing from one school to another. And, no problem. They're like, we can transfer your ARC, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't. And at the last minute, the original school was like, no, you got to go to Hong Kong. You got to go do this. You got to do all that. I'm like, well, can't we just do it here? And the lady was like, yeah, we can do that. We can do it here. I'm like, okay, so let's do it here, you know? And she's like, but, and I'm like, okay, what's up? They said, well, I'm a single mom, and, you know, my husband left a long time ago. And I was like, okay. I mean, you can guess, right? I was like, okay. And I mean, it was weird. I was like, okay, so that's I knew where it was going, but she's like, yeah, so if, you know, you want to take me out, I could get it done for you today. And I'm like, I was like 23, 24. I was like, what? This is crazy. I was blown away. I was like, this is what? And she's like, yeah, we can get it done, but that's what it's going to cost. And I was like, wow, this is a weird situation for me. So I ended up going to Hong Kong, getting things done and changing schools. But because I did that, when I got to the end of my process for the new school, I was blacklisted.
Really?
Yeah, I was blacklisted. I gave all my paperwork in, and the new school is like, the government disapproved it, and they disapproved because your last school said that you were really horrible to the kids. Well, which is the equivalent of being blacklisted, right? Sure. So I was like, I'm like, are you serious? And I couldn't believe it. I was blown away. I didn't think that was a thing. Because when people say blacklisted, I thought, no, that can't be a thing. But apparently it is. Yeah, so I couldn't get it done. So I had to go get a student visa. You know, I had to go through quite a few things, and that was a time when they were really cracking down. There was a point in Taiwan where you could get a student visa, and you could just not go. But this time they cracked down, and I went, and it was one of the best things that happened to me. I went, I met lots of new friends. It was fun, but it was pretty crazy. It was pretty cool, man.
Well,
it was a
I
pretty
think
crazy situation.
There's less of that these days, which is good. But
which is good, yeah, sure.
Still ways that policy can be improved, and
for sure.
The visa adventure, it never ends. Kind of like you alluded to. That's another thing I think can be improved in Taiwan is like the fact that you have to have a continuous visa for 5 years to become a permanent resident. You know, in other countries it's so much easier. It's something that could be improved here, definitely.
I agree. And to be honest, I had been here for 10, maybe 12 years and was still not eligible because I had changed schools a couple times and they wouldn't move my visa. So I'd go to another school and it'd be like day one. You know, and it was not a big deal for me, but it is frustrating, and I don't know if it's any better now, but at the time it was pretty rough. Yeah.
Interesting. I haven't heard of anyone having trouble transferring their visa.
So now it's okay. Well, that's good news, right? So things are getting better. Yeah. But this was 17 years ago, so that's Wild West days, I guess, right? Yeah. So it was a while ago. Definitely. That's my story for that, though. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. It's a funny one.
Yeah, the 5-year game is very real. The 5-year game
is rough. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, it was longer before, maybe 7 or something. It was
7, yeah.
7, yeah. It's craziness, man. Yeah, and when you're starting at day one, every time you change your job, you're like, I'm never gonna get this. Yeah,
totally.
And the only way I got it was, I mean, after being married for a while, then I was like, okay, well, let's change it because, you know, just in case, and then it's a lifetime 10,000 NT, and it's your lifetime, and you're good, right?
Yeah.
So actually, I got that maybe 2-3 years ago. To be honest, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
You were here for a long time without permanent residency.
I was. Yeah, pretty crazy, man. Huh. Let's jump on to the next one. Yeah.
Sure.
That one is made with a bird's eye chilies, sort of like a Thai, those little Thai ones. So we're getting a little spicier, a little bit spicier.
Mm-hmm.
I think they went easy on us today.
Oh yeah?
I think so. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah. Yeah, I like that one. That's one. I always say it's one of my favorites, but when you're making all of them like yourself, you're kind of like, oh, I like that. It's it's kind of funny.
When you're the taste tester, it turns out
you like them all, right? It turns out I like them all. Yeah. So you were saying that. What was that? I missed that. A typical event. Is there some kind of a dress code, or you just kind of show up? I mean,
not at all.
No dress code. No.
Well, okay.
I mean, flip flops and a tank top.
Hey,
probably not.
However you want to
Doesn't
sell
matter?
yourself. It's
Okay.
networking, right?
Sure. Yeah.
We're not. You're not walking into a job interview at our events, and
Okay.
I'll tell you one thing
Sure.
that we're trying to distinguish ourselves from is there are chambers of commerce in Taiwan. There are chamber of commerce events.
Of course.
Which,
Yeah. Okay.
if I'm being very frank, we are specifically trying to be not like a chamber of commerce event. I haven't been to chamber of commerce events in other countries, but I can tell you in Taiwan, it's it can be kind of an old boys club where
I went to one.
the companies that belong to the chamber, it's not cheap to belong to the chamber, and the events are not cheap. You're spending maybe $50 a lot of times to go to the event.
Yeah.
And if you're someone who's trying to network in earnest, you might find that you walk into a room where everybody knows each other.
Okay.
Everybody's dressed in their business suits.
Yeah.
And they're all talking about life on the golf course last weekend.
Yeah.
That's not always the best place to network as a job seeker.
That's
And
exactly
so-
what I went to one chamber of commerce event, and that's exactly what happened to me. And I mean, I wasn't sloppy, but I had like some pants on and like a dress shirt or whatever. But most people were done up with the suits, and I walked in and I was basically invisible for about 30 minutes, and then I left.
Yeah.
To be honest, and I'm pretty like I'm down to talk to whoever, but I left, and when I was leaving, I thought, man, I'm never doing that again. You know what I mean? It's pretty rough for sure. That's why I actually asked. Yeah.
That's the exact experience that we're trying to avoid. And that's not to say anything bad. The chambers of commerce do a lot of good things for the community, for business, for people, for job seekers, but that's a different thing.
Sure.
And so for us, it's more of a come as you are.
I like that.
We have a lot of regulars who come in. I mean, T-shirt's fine if you come straight from the office and you have to wear a suit at work. Of course, you're not going to be out of place.
Sure.
It's not stuffy. We don't want to have a pretentious
where you're
thing.
just like black tie
you can
or whatever.
talk to anybody at the event. We have a lot of students. We have a lot of interns. We have teachers. We have professionals. We have entrepreneurs and business owners.
Sure.
We get a lot of professors actually. So it's meant to be.
Is it a pretty good mix there?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
At our monthly events, I'd say we're usually about 70% foreigners and 30% Taiwanese.
Okay. And are these like the traveled ones, or like the curious locals, or
yeah, you'll get a
opinion?
mix, but usually it'll be younger people who lived abroad or academics. We have quite a few Taiwanese academics who turn up and seem to like to come out for the events. I think it's not entirely the crowd is not entirely dependent on the topic, but definitely, if we're having an entrepreneurship event, you'll get more people for that, or if it's people thinking about grad school, then events about graduation. After graduation, you might get more people for that.
Sure.
But we're lucky to have a bunch of regulars too who just come out for every event, and they like to network.
That's cool.
And they just want to meet new people. They want to hear the stories of what else is happening in Taiwan. That's part of the crowd too, is there's a lot of people who are just genuinely curious about what's happening in Taiwan, and so they want to hear, what other people are going through and what they're doing.
Do you have any crazy stories about any of the events that have popped up? Like anything that's kind of like, whoa, didn't know that was going to happen, unexpected? Or everybody's pretty chill? No? Okay, that's great. Yeah. That's a good thing, yeah.
I mean, we have a good time with it. It's loose, like I said. There's beer and food, and
I think that's a big thing. Yeah.
It is, and again, just like with the job fair. I mean, what I was gonna say, I guess, is like the wow, I didn't know that was gonna happen was when the job fair, when it was just busy all day. It was 1,000 people is a lot of people, man.
That's a lot of people, yeah, sure.
So for me, the biggest wow I've had as being part of All Hands, excuse me, was not one of our events. It was not one of our events.
Okay.
But I had the pleasure and the honor of speaking on a panel with DPP legislator Karen Yu.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
She's a big proponent of internationalization for Taiwan.
Okay.
And so she kind of chaired the event for the TCA kickoff, the talent circulation kickoff. Sure. So that was at the Legislative Yuan. We were on TV and stuff, and I didn't really expect that.
That's pretty cool. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we got to share the table with American Chamber of Commerce and Karen Yu and a lot of other big organizations.
That's
we certainly
pretty cool.
kind of felt like the kids at the big table.
Sure. Of course.
Yeah. And Yeah, that's one of those things where I felt a little out of place. I did put on a suit that day.
Okay, yeah,
but
for sure.
one of the funny things, the funny thing that happened that day too was I was running around getting new business cards in the morning. I had to pick up new business cards.
Sure, okay.
And so when I got to the Legislative Yuan, the room was full and they were just about to start. And so I had never been in a governmental building in Taiwan.
Yeah,
and
as most of us have never.
Right.
Yeah.
I was a bit nervous. There were TV cameras, and there was a panel at the front. There was people sitting there, right? And I was like, and I was told I was going to be on the panel, so it's not like it came out of the blue. But I'm like, oh, am I supposed to be sitting at the front already? So, like, there's a table like this where we are.
I love it.
And there's a table over to the side. And I'm like, I don't really know what to do, and nobody's really talking in the audience, and so like I go up the side aisle, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to go sit at the front table, so I can't really ask anybody, so I sneak over and I sit at this side table. So now I'm at the front of the room, but I'm not at the the panel table.
Okay.
And then I realize like, oh, like this is not where I'm supposed to sit.
Okay.
So then I try to I sneak away back over to like a normal chair until they announced us, and then we went up and sat down.
That's funny.
Not the biggest, not the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me, but it certainly was one of those things like, yeah, I've never been here before, so this is new for me.
I would imagine most foreigners have never been in a governmental building, right? I don't think. I mean, I can't think of any other reason why.
Yeah, counting a police station, right?
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. That's a whole other story. Those ones, though, those are different stories. Yeah. Those are crazy ones, man. It's funny because my family's Mexican, right? And I'm, Mexican Canadian, right? And so anytime there's any kind of drug deal goes sour, it's always some Canadian guy, and people are always like, you know this guy? I'm like, man, I don't know that guy, you know? We all don't know each other. It's crazy. I'm like, you know that guy across the street?
Yeah.
And they're just like, no. I'm like, well, come on. It's funny, right?
For sure.
Very funny, yeah.
We'll have to crank up what's going on at the events. Next time I'm on, I'll have something crazy to tell you about. But so far,
sure. No, that's good. No, I mean, if things are going according to plan, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah, that's
nothing
true.
wrong with that at all.
No news is good news, right?
Yeah, for sure. Things are smooth. I mean, that's great, man. Yeah. Very good.
That's good.
All right. What are we on? Oh, we're on the second last one. So that's made with ghost pepper. Okay. So it should be a little bit spicier than the other one.
For spice, yeah.
There you go. Get on it. Yeah, there you go. Right on. Enjoy.
Will do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting hotter.
Getting there, yeah.
Do you grow the chilies, or you guys pick them up at the market?
We tried, but we have a couple of farms that grow for us because we just use so many.
Yeah, sure.
It's just not possible to grow them.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's like we have a couple of avocado trees that have been growing for, they're still like this. They've been growing for like 5 years, still no fruit. But it's like, damn, like when are you going to give us some fruit? And if it does, it'll be like one avocado. I would guess. I've never even, never done that.
That's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a couple of farms, one in Pingdong, one in Miaoli, one in Danshui that grow spicy peppers.
Okay.
And when we can, when they have a batch, they call us and they're like, hey, I got 6 kilos of jalapeno. And I'm like, I'll take them all. And they're like, you want all of them? I'm like, hell yeah, I'll take them all, man. If you got more, let me know.
There you go.
Because we love it, right?
Sure. Yeah, let me know about those avocado trees. I definitely ate guacamole every day.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing.
So hard to get here.
It's very hard. I mean, we get it. We get avocados, but it's not easy to get. And then sometimes when you get them, they're really expensive, right? So you're like, you get them, and it's okay if it's good, but sometimes you buy a bag, and they're really expensive, and then you cut them open, they're all black or they're crap, and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah. So it's really, you got to be like the avocado whisperer, man, when you're going to pick avocados, man.
I know. About twice a year, I'll pick up some at the specialty store and want to make guacamole, and like you say, 50% of the time they never ripen up and they just rock hard, and
yeah.
Tragedy.
So, exactly, yeah. It's sad, So you say you got Luca at almost every event. How did you guys go about finding sort of food vendors for your events? Woo, it's getting hot. Yeah, you feeling it? All right,
It's
good.
hot.
Not just me.
No.
All right.
How did we find them? I don't know. I think...
Do they just be like, hey, I got tacos, or...
No, nobody has sought us out yet. What do you got here? Is this Calpis?
It's milk.
Oh,
But
it's
the
milk.
ice is melted.
Ice, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I was supposed to tell you we got ice water, milk, horchata, but then we just went on the beers,
Sure,
right? So,
sure.
And if you want some more horchata, let us know. Yeah.
I will.
Rita, 可以再给我一杯 Rita, 可以再给我一杯 horchata 吗？谢谢。
I think we just hatched the idea after one or two events, like, hey, it'd be nice to have food because it's kind of dinner time and easier to keep people here, and it'd be nice to support other businesses. So
I think
think
food
at
and
the
beer is
second or
always
third,
good, right?
you know, at the second or third one, we had empanadas.
Yeah, okay.
From
the Colombian guy,
Yeah,
right?
I
Yeah,
think so.
Mecato, right? I saw it
from
on
a
your
restaurant
website.
in Dansui, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that went well, and then
Yeah.
everybody loves tacos, so we had
Everybody loves
Luca in, and more recently we've also had Falafel King. Their shop
I
is
saw
in,
that.
Their shop is in.
I heard good things about that. Yeah.
Shida.
Okay. I didn't know they had a shop.
Gongwon. Yeah.
Okay,
And
okay.
then the food was great. And then
Okay.
also we had our friends who have a private dining studio called Maofang.
Oh no, I never heard of that one. Yeah.
They had some really amazing bamboo pies, and
That's cool. Okay.
what else? They do Italian food, so it's a private studio. They have a kind of monthly or seasonal menu.
Okay.
You should definitely look them up. The food is great. But yeah, we like to support, any other local businesses that are out there trying to make it happen. So maybe Eddy's needs to come down.
Yeah,
and
maybe we
do
can
the
come
food.
down and do them, but I don't want to step on Luca's toes, though. I mean, we're pretty close, but
Yeah, we'll see.
yeah,
a little friendly
That'll be good,
competition never hurt.
Okay, all right, good. Yeah, maybe we will. And now that we get invited a lot to do that, but usually we turn it down because with the two restaurants, and usually we're understaffed.
Yeah.
It's tough, but
Going on the road's hard.
it is. But it's fun though too. Yeah, I think I like to go check one out first.
Sure.
Chat with Luca a little bit, and yeah, maybe probably not this one, but every month there's one, right?
Yeah,
You guys
yeah.
plan them? How far ahead do you plan?
Oh man, despite our best intentions, it rarely gets to be more than 2 months in advance.
I know that feeling, brother. Yeah.
We
sure,
had a meeting
sure.
about 4 or 5 months ago where we were like, all right, we're going to plan
Let's do the
6 months.
Yeah.
All the topics, assign them, find the panelists.
Yeah.
We picked the topics, but that was it.
That was it, right?
Yeah, so usually
sure.
it comes together fairly last minute, and it doesn't take a full month to plan. I mean, it does take a little more planning than people would guess.
Okay,
we don't
sure.
like the panelists to get on stage without knowing each other. So
Okay.
we have a pre-meeting. So first as a team we pick the topic.
Okay.
We brainstorm who do we know who would be good on this panel.
Okay.
And we have to ask them, and then if they accept, then we have a pre-meeting. So the goal is, not only do we not want them to be strangers to each other on
Sure.
the stage, but that way we can have a discussion in advance, and they can tell us what they think will be interesting. What are the questions they get, or what are the things they struggled with, and
Yeah.
that way they can talk together about what they think will be interesting about the topic, and
Okay.
that way the host kind of can have a set of prompts, right? Like
Okay.
it's not scripted. We don't want to have,
Yeah, sure. Of course.
we don't
of
want it
course,
to be
yeah.
formal, but that way,
Yeah. Thank you. There
that
you
way
go, brother.
everybody can kind of, thank you.
No problem. Enjoy.
Everybody kind of knows what's coming a little bit too, and that way, if there's points that are really that they're passionate about, or if there's
Yeah.
something they want to talk about, they can kind of have mental notes, and
Okay.
they feel prepared on stage. Because one thing we quickly realized is most people are not on stage or in front of a camera very often. So
They're not.
it's,
Yeah. You can tell when people are, and when they're not, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So it's
Definitely. Yeah.
helping to prepare people for that situation. We've found is it's the right way to go. It definitely eases the discomfort that people might have when they get up in front of people.
You know what I think helped a lot for me was when I taught kindergarten. Like that for me helped me. Like before I came here, I didn't do much of this kind of thing. I was really shy, and then I jumped into kindergarten here, and I'd been coaching soccer most of my life. But that's different because you're outside and you can physically show people what's going on. But when you have to keep the attention of 25, 3-year-olds. It's and they'll just laugh in your face if you're off. It's pretty crazy. But I learned to really enjoy that. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of friends that teach still that don't like it.
Yeah.
But when I was teaching, I loved it. I have a little girl right now, and she's 8. But I mean, having her was almost like a second childhood for me. I mean, like, we go to the movies. We do so many fun things. Like, we go to. She's into Pokemon right now, and so there's this arcade called Pokemon Tretta where you put your 30 NT in and you play these buttons. You get to choose 3 Pokemon, and it's like a little battle. And at the end, you actually get to catch one. And I mean, we've been doing that so much lately. It's nice. Like every time there's a bunch of change, I'm like, all right, let's go. And you just like, we come back and my wife's like, how much did you guys spend? And you got all these like little plastic chip Pokemon things. You're like, oh, not that much, you know. It's like, so it's pretty crazy, man. Having that experience with kindergarten, and it helped me with my daughter, but also I think it helped me with being in front of a camera or in front of people. I've also gone over to speak at different universities to get interns to come in and work and stuff. And also that was, I think, the kindergarten, man, that was the ticket, because before that I would have just not done it. Yeah. And then with the kindergarten, I'm like, oh man, let's go. For the very first university I talked at was McKay in Sanji, and I just went in. Everyone had their PowerPoints, everyone had everything. I just went in with nothing. Like no notes, no nothing. Sure. And I'm like, all I got to do is talk about myself, talk about my business, and that. Yeah, I don't need notes for that, man. I don't need notes for that, right?
Yeah, to that point. Yeah, actually,
so it's crazy.
That was a funny thing that me and Danny learned. Danny, my co-founder. Yeah. So the first time we spoke was actually before All Hands had quite started. We were invited at FutureWord, one of the co-working spaces. Okay. And we knew each other, but we'd only known each other for a handful of months. And I'm a good bit older than Danny, and we did kind of a 2-part speech. So we talked. The topic was foreign employability or something like that. So, sure. And so Danny was talking about it from the company perspective, since he works with a lot of companies who are hiring interns, and I was talking about it as the job seeker, because I've had a career with multiple jobs in Taiwan. Yeah. But not having known each other, not having seen each other on stage, it was pretty eye-opening that day. So, at that time, Danny was, I didn't know, but he was kind of nervous. And so he had prepared a lot of notes, and he got up and he kind of stood at the podium and delivered his speech. And I was a bit more like you. I got up there and I was like, what's up? I don't have any notes. I'm going to kind of walk around and wing it. And, thank you. I think having those different personalities and stuff is good for us over time. But it's also, we've certainly had panelists or prospective panelists decline because I'm not comfortable speaking in public or whatnot. Which I
have an unbelievable amount of high profile people that don't want to make I can't eat spicy sort of here. And I'm like, well, this is just a small channel. We're just trying to get some eyes going. And I understand. I get a lot I can't do that,
how it is. You want to respect them.
Of course. I don't push it.
We certainly feel like there's a few people where, and we always try to leave them, and I'm sure you do too, with the message of like, I'm only asking because I really respect what you do.
Because we love you, man.
It'd be great to be on, that kind of thing. But, if it's not your thing, why put somebody in an uncomfortable situation like that?
Today I met one of my buddies in Costco that I hadn't seen in years, and he's a musician. He's a pretty famous musician, and he's like, hey, I've been watching your show. I'm like, good thing you brought that up, because I want you to come on it, and he's like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, we can switch, we can do whatever you want, but you got great stories, you got great personality, you'll kill it. And he's kind of like, I'm like, no, you're like, so I get it. He's kind of like, but I'm working on it. He's a great guy. I don't want to mention names, but he's a fucking great guy, man. Sure. I want to get him on here. I might do a little a spin off of this, just because I think that he'll be so good at it. I'll switch it up. I'll do a different format just because I think he's a great guy, and he'll do well, man. Yeah, for sure, my man. Yeah.
Speaking of that, we should probably put you on one of our panels soon.
Brother, he let me know. Yeah, I didn't get to finish the story, but that was that one time I didn't prep. But afterwards, when I did prep, it was even better. It was better because I could just look at a word, and then it's like tell this story. Look at this word. Okay, tell this story. Whereas at the beginning, I was kind of like, hey, it's kind of like the kid that never did his homework. It's like a Bart Simpson where you're like, kind of like,
spitball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, talking your way out of it. But that's good experience. I think it's a good skill to have, but preparation is definitely helpful. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, let me know. I'd love to do it. Yeah, if you ever got any need, I'm in for sure.
Always. I mean, there's topics that we're going to cover every year.
Okay,
we did one. The next month's topic will be our first topic, which was basically people who used to be teachers who found other work. Right?
Sure. Okay.
So talking about the different ways they manage that.
Sure.
And another one is small local business owners.
Sure.
Foreign local business owners.
Okay.
So those are things that we want to talk about every year. So
let me know, man. If you ever need me, I'm in. Just give me a little bit of notice so I can have the kitchen and everything covered, and I'm in for sure.
Right. Everybody's been warned then.
Yeah, we're in, brother. We're in.
Sounds good.
And I'll prep for it. So give me a little notice.
There you go.
It'll be fun. It'll be
You
fun.
bringing a PowerPoint or maybe
I can, whatever you want. I mean, I've gotten better. This was a little way back, but it was good. It was good.
Cool.
But I was kind of like,
we'll
and
take
they're
you
just
up on
like,
that.
do you have something? I'm like, nah. Let's just go. What do you need? I'll take this and let's go. It's pretty funny. Whereas, when I talk to friends, when I go back home, I grew up very quiet and very, very shy. And it's kind of, I don't want to say it's the opposite, but, when you come out and you kind of got to come out of your shell a little bit when you live, alone on the other side of the world, you're kind of like, if I stay this way, that it's kind of going to suck, So I have my daughter, she's super outgoing. Occasionally she'll feel a little bit shy, and I kind of try to talk her out of being shy because I've spent half of my life as this like ultra shy person. And then the other half is like this like spitballing, outgoing, like let's go. And that definitely I've gotten more opportunity out of that.
Sure.
So I think it's a good thing, man, for sure.
Make yourself heard.
I mean, you gotta make some noise to so people can take a look, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, we're on the last one, brother. Okay.
Right.
So this was also from Flavor of the World. This one is made with Trinidad Trinidad Scorpions. So this is a pretty spicy one. It looks like they took a little easy on it, but you get what you need, brother. You get what you need.
Let's see.
Going drumstick or
what
wing.
we're in for here.
Right, there you go. Oh, it looks like they took it easy on us a little bit. Well, that's okay.
That last one was pretty hot, man.
Yeah, last one got there, huh?
Okay. Is this one going to be a creeper that just keeps coming?
It will. It should be. Yeah. That's the thing about fresh chilies. They come in waves, right? So sometimes they're like that ghost one, the last one. Sometimes it's like off the charts hot, and then sometimes you're like, oh shoot, this is not hot at all. It's a weird one. This one seems to be a little bit. I think it's creeping a little bit.
It's there.
It's getting there, yeah.
It's definitely there.
Yeah. So, you told us about the 5-year plan and all that.
Yeah.
If people want to find you, how can they find you guys?
Sure.
You said you got some links for me to share in the description on the live feed. I've got the Facebook page link. I believe the website's on there as well.
Great.
But what else do you have to share for that?
Those are the best resources.
Okay. Facebook's updated all the time, it seems like, right? Yeah.
Facebook's very busy.
It's very easy to update the Facebook. The website's a little tougher to update, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. We do have blog posts, as I mentioned, that I think people have been really receptive to. We try to have a variety of perspectives on that.
Okay.
So, there's things on there.
Do you guys record any of the events? Like, do you stream any of them? Is that
good question?
Is that a thing that you don't want to do, or maybe you do want to do? Or
we shied away from video streaming because we do charge at the door.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
We're a volunteer organization. That's all the money we make.
Sure.
So there's not much sitting in the bank for All Hands.
Understandable, yeah. But maybe like
that was a hot one.
Yeah, I mean, it comes right in the end, right? Maybe not live, But afterwards,
we did
or would
audio
that-
recordings for a
Okay.
few events, and
Okay,
those were
okay.
popular. We had a handful of people ask about them.
okay.
So I'm not averse to it,
That one's getting
but
hot.
you know, it's hard. It's also one more thing to do. You know, you got a great setup here. You said it took you time to build.
It took
this
a
up.
long time. Like I said, I started. So we have a little office. We had this little storage room in the back that was just underutilized. So like last summer or 2 summers ago. Oh, that one's getting hot. Yeah, it's coming. All right. I was like, oh, it's not hot. Okay. Oh, excuse me. One summer, I went in, I took everything out, cleaned it up, scraped all the walls down, painted it, threw up a green screen. And then we set something like this up there. And it was good, but it always felt hard to bring somebody, like to be like, hey, come on back to the back, this little back room, in my little shoebox room here.
Yeah.
Because they see it with the green screen and it looks cool, it looks huge, right? But actually it's tiny, and it's not dodgy, but it seems, I mean, I always felt kind of like weird to bring people back there, but it was a great place.
Sure.
But a funny story about that is there's a girl who that I know who teaches Mandarin on YouTube. Peggy teaches Chinese, and she didn't know where the office was, so I picked her up at the MRT, and I was walking from the MRT to the studio, and I walked by a few of our customers, right? And she's beautiful, Peggy. She's gorgeous. So, and you know, I'm married. They all know I'm married. They all know my wife. And I'm walking with this gorgeous Taiwanese girl, and I'm, you know, walking up the studio, and they're just like, hey, and they're just kind of like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, oh, good. I'm like, what are you guys up to? They're like, oh, we're gonna go get some dinner. They're like, what are you up to? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go make a video. You know, we're heading up to the studio, gonna make a video, and they're just like, you know, they're like,
yeah, it's all kosher. It's all kosher.
you know, I'm like, they're like, okay. I'm like, yeah, I'll send you a link later, man, no problem. And the guy, the wife is just kind of like looking at the husband, like, what's going on here?
I like it.
And then when I was walking away, I was like, oh, I didn't really click on that, you know. I was like, yeah, how bad it sounded, but it was pretty funny, yeah, for sure. But even that, I thought, okay, well, if we can utilize this space on a slow day. It's a nicer space. The live atmosphere is good. People come in and they're kind of like, what's going on? This is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of people ask, and it gets more exposure and stuff. So it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good, man.
I think, you know, it's fun. It's a good idea to record. For the job fair on that day, we live streamed all the panels.
Beautiful. Okay.
It's just one of those things where there's so little income coming in for All Hands that we've been kind of
No, I understand.
hesitant. Plus, you know, it's hard having 4 people, and if you don't have a soundboard or if you don't have a system that plugs directly
for sure.
in,
Yeah, for sure.
the audio's crap. It's kind
Yeah.
of one of those things we talked about. Like, if you're going to do it right.
I understand.
And
Sure.
So it's one of those things. We only have so many
Okay.
resources.
No, I understand.
Time, money,
I understand.
etc.
Hey, it's the same for me. Like we were saying, when I built this, that green screen, these are actually, if you guys ever come out for a karaoke night, these are actually my karaoke. This is like a friend of mine who's an audio specialist. He sort of set up our PA system. We got the karaoke mics, and we use it for live music. We use it for karaoke. And I had bought a USB mic to do this, and he was like, your setup that you have is way better than that USB mic that you're using. And I'm like, okay, really? No. And I did research. I'm like, no, USB mic, that's plug and play. It's easy. And I did it, and it was okay. And then when we did this, people were like, oh, it's like a legit, the audio is really good. You should actually put it up as an audio only podcast as well, which we did recently as well, which has been going pretty good.
Nice.
I've got shout out to this company called podcast.co. I bought a lifetime sort of membership with them, and sort of you upload your podcast and they host it for you. You have a page with all the podcast audio on it. You put your description in, whatever, like YouTube and your tags and all that, and they upload to like the top 8 podcasting sites in the world automatically. They just do it all for you.
Nice.
So it's like this will go on to Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, the Amazon one. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know them all.
Stitcher,
Stitcher's on there. TuneIn. There's 2 more. And it's like, it's crazy. They just go up automatically, and it's pretty amazing. Yeah, so it's very cool, man. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the first one, episode 1, is with the old mic, and you could definitely tell the audio is it's definitely not as good. Yeah, I mean, it would be good if it was just a 1-person show, but for like this, it wasn't as good. Yeah, and I had this stuff already. It's just like, here's a little adapter, you're fixed.
There you go.
It's like, damn, okay, sounds good to me. Yeah, and it definitely a learning process. A lot of YouTube tutorials but in the end, I started with a GoPro, just one of my old GoPros, and actually it looked pretty good. Lighting is the key, man. The secret. I mean, if you have good lighting, a cell phone looks good.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pretty good. Yeah. But yeah, well, I mean, if you guys need a hand, I'd love to come and check it out. And but yeah, if you need me, I'm in for sure. It would be great.
Take you up on
actually,
that.
Pete was telling me, the soccer coach, Pete, he was telling me that he goes and checks him out, and he says he knows you pretty well, right? And he loves it. He said it's great. You should go. So probably not the next week one, but the week after one, or the month after, I'll probably go check it out.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'll send you a message and bother you about it.
Please do. Please remind me, because sometimes you're so busy.
Of course.
And it's just like, oh, it's Wednesday again. Okay, let's get things ready. Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. Right
on,
on,
brother. This every week?
Every Wednesday we do it. This is number 19,
Keeps you busy,
I believe.
Man.
It's trying to keep it consistent. It's been Chinese New Year, we were closed and I didn't do it. That was the one time we missed. But for 19, 20 weeks in a row, it's been good. Yeah. Nice. And we're live, just so that you know. Yeah. Just in case you missed that one.
Sure.
In a restaurant. Yeah. That's how we do it.
Is there one of those every week? Is that you don't know when the soundbite is going to happen?
Exactly. Yeah. If it was every week, I'd be... Lily, can you change the louder? If it was every week, I'd be pretty solid with that. But yeah, it happens a little more often than this thing. Something's trippy on that. If it was a little more often, it'd be less often. Sorry, that spice is going to my brain. I think. Yeah, it gets there, right? So, do you have anything you want to add? You made it through the whole gauntlet here, man. I appreciate you. Like you said, you're good with the spice, man. That's pretty amazing.
That was hot. That last one was real hot.
Last one was pretty rough, right? Yeah.
No, I mean, you asked where people should find us. I think allhandstaiwan.com. Just maybe I'd like to say we do have a resources page on there. So,
okay.
Anything we find useful, we put it there so that people might find it useful.
I actually checked that out. That's a great page, man.
Yeah, there's other job boards there. There's chambers of commerce information. There's graduate school programs, internship information.
Okay.
You know, our mission when we started this is to make professional resources accessible and available. That's why there's no dress code at the events, and that's why,
great. Yeah.
You know, we try to make that available to people. Watch for our monthly blog post about.
Do you write those, or you guys take turns writing those? Or?
I write a lot of what's there.
Okay.
A lot of the monthly events I try to get on.
Okay.
A lot of our other blog content is guest writers these days.
Okay.
So
that's good. Yeah.
We'll have one coming soon from someone writing about the grad school experience in Taiwan, things like that. Like you said, the gold card one.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
And then, on the Facebook page is where you'll find our events. One thing is, for the events, we do pre-register on AccuPass.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Okay.
Well, that way we know who's coming.
Yeah,
people can reserve a spot.
That's very cool.
Easy thing. And otherwise, those are the best 2 places to find us. I mean, Instagram and Twitter, we haven't got there yet. It's it's a lot more work than you think to be on multiple social media.
I know all about that stuff for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We are on all that, and it's like sometimes you forget, and you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't updated this one, and like I think Twitter doesn't get used as much out here, right? It's not used at all. Taiwan, it's not so big out here. I only use Twitter to see what UFC fighters are posting.
I follow some news on Twitter myself, but I'm not there for Taiwan things.
Yeah, for Taiwan, I don't think that there's much, honestly. Yeah, which could be an opportunity, or it could be nothing, right? Who knows? Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Right on, brother. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. It's nice to meet you.
My pleasure.
Don't touch your eyes for a little while. Make sure you wash
your
hands.
Yeah, I got a little
Did you get some on your eye?
Yeah. Not in the eye, but
on the eye, on the side.
It's
okay.
Hot.
Thanks for coming, man. We'll have all the links on the bottom. We have some already, but we'll add some. Yeah.
Great.
And I appreciate it, man. I love what you're doing. That's why, actually, when I started this, I thought definitely this is you're one of the guys I want to get on here because what you're doing is amazing. So
thank you you again for having me. Appreciate it,
brother. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Thank you.